Hi there, Dead Idea Boy here, back with another video, and in this one we are jumping into the Gran Turismo World Series manufacturers. We are in the Porsche and it's at Fuji. Qualification for this was horrendous. We were terrible. We could not hook a lap up and we end up starting all the way back in P13. Now, it was a 290 point lobby, so the standard was pretty good, and a win here would see my highest ever points total from a race. I think that's around about 275, something along those lines, but we've never reached 290, I know that for a fact. Now, this was going to be difficult. It's a 12 lap sprint on hard tyres. There's no strategy, so no real way of making up positions other than outright speed on the track, and that's not something I am renowned for. However, we can put that all to bed and change that narrative with a good result here. But as we weave down the straight, if you could hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. There's a little marker up there in the top right corner that tells us we've got 8,563 subscribers. Help us get to 10,000 subscribers, that would be amazing. We can do it with your help. So anybody who does subscribe, hit me up in the comments, I'll say thank you personally. But as we head down now to turn 1, we're looking for a bit of drama, something to happen, give us a free position, and that's exactly what does happen as cars all collide. Somebody basically gets on the brakes a little bit soon, somebody doesn't, pinballs off each other, we ghost through them all, well, we go through their ghost, and we pick up a position, and you can see up ahead a 2-second penalty for the car that was, well, the game decided was the instigator for that pinball, and that means we're going to get another position for free as long as we can keep the car on the track. You can see there the BMW and the GTR having a little bit of a side-by-side there. The BMW, I think, actually backs out to allow the GTR through because I think he pushed them wide, but that gives us the chance to sneakily go up in between them both and make a really nice passing manoeuvre as we come through the chicane. Not something, again, I'm renowned for, making moves, but I had nothing to lose here. We're starting away at the back, and we've only got 12 laps to try and get a result out of this. Otherwise, it's a complete waste of my time and your time even watching this. But it's not going to be like that, is it? We've made a video out of this for a reason, and you will see as the race unfolds why we have decided to make a video from this. So, up to P10 at the end of lap 1. That basically is a result. So we've picked up 3 positions, and I've already gained a little bit of confidence because I don't feel like I'm being outpaced. For once, I don't think I've out-qualified myself. The qualification was so bad that my race pace had to be better than that, and it was quickly feeling like it was better than that. You can already see we're onto the back of the RCZ and the Audi, and we've got time to try and make up positions here. It's going to be very difficult, we know that. However, there's a result in here, I know there is. Well, that's what I was starting to feel anyway at this point. Starting to feel a little bit more confident as each and every corner was taken. You can see there though, the RCZ and the Audi having a little bit of a moment with each other, but that's good for us because I had a feeling that there could be some damage to some of these cars, because every time they had a little collision like that, it's not good in these races because heavy damage is on. So keeping your car clean, keeping it damage free was absolutely critical. You can see here as we come round the sequence of right-handers into Sector 3, which is a notoriously difficult section on this track. You can see the Audi kind of just pulls out the way. I had a feeling that was because they were quite heavily damaged and were just getting out of the race, but that's good for us. We're now up to P9 as we head down the home straight, and we've got a chance here to get on the back of the RCZ, get some good grip and acceleration out of the final turn. You can see we're actually using traction control. We've got traction control set to 1, which a lot of people will kind of frown upon, or just think that that's not the best way to do it. However, recently I've been feeling much more comfortable with TCS on 1, especially in Group 3, well, really only in Group 3, because it just gives me that extra little bit of security as I plant my heavy right foot down. especially in this car, the Porsche second gear is quite lethal. Snap quite badly, especially around Fuji sector 3, so that just gave me a little bit of, well, just it felt like a little bit of comfort and security to try and get the most out of the car, basically to the best of my ability at least. Now skipping forward to the end of lap 5, we've not made up any more positions, we're still in P8, however you can see there's a McLaren with a big red penalty above its head, so that means another position for us, and we're going to be up to P7, and that is a gain of 6 positions, and we're heading into lap 6. Now, if we then skip forward a little bit further than that, we're going to head up to lap 9. You can see us coming round the final bend here onto the straight. We've already caught up with another couple of cars, and that is good news for us because our pace was there. We were starting to get right into this, and you can see our lap times weren't that far off the fastest lap in the race, and we've got the slipstream now of this McLaren. Now, as I said, I'm not the fastest, however, I felt like at this particular point, like I was the fastest. I felt like I was the fastest person on track. I had been going through so many laps with so many purple sectors, and getting to sector 3 I would always lose a little bit of time. However, my lap times were really consistent. You can see purple sector there, and the fact that we were looking at the leaders who were 6-7 seconds ahead, but they weren't getting any further ahead than that, and that had been the case since the start of the race, bearing in mind I'd had to work my way through quite a lot of traffic. So for once I actually felt that in a GT World Series race that I was the fastest man on the track, and that has never really felt like that before, ever. I've always felt like I had out-qualified myself, or there were people miles faster than me, and that I was just basically there to make up the numbers. But not today, not that night. I felt like I had something in me and that I could get a result here. Now, granted, we're on lap 10 now, so you know there's not much of the race to go, and we're in P7, so what can happen from here? Well, you're going to see what can happen from here. Firstly, we're going to finally get out of this last bend and get on the gas, and we're going to make a move. We're going to absolutely get onto the back end of this McLaren, moving over to defend itself, but were they going to be able to defend from me at this point? I didn't feel like they could. I felt like this was our chance to make some moves. We went over the line and we actually set the fastest lap of the race at this point, and we go past the McLaren and he didn't even fight it. He knew by this point that I was quicker, and we got the move done, and we're up to P6. And not only are we up to P6, as I said, we're the fastest car on the track at the moment. Well, actually this is the lap that we're on just now where we set the fastest lap, which was P11 in the race. So yeah, that was a sign of the fact that we were doing things that we don't normally do. We were consistently getting quicker and quicker as the race progressed, and the lap times were there. Now, we're at P6 and we've not got a lot of the race left, so the fact that we're already now trying to get up to a potential podium position, you can see up ahead there, they're there, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th is right in our sights, and that is something that we were completely aware of, and we could get something done here. Now, the Porsche was a very good car for this track, granted, and we knew that if we could just get onto the back end of this this Subaru, an absolute cardinal sin there, if we could get back onto the back end of this Subaru, which we do, this was going to be a big opportunity. So, onto it, slipstream, powering down, we're going to set the fastest lap of the race, so that sends out a signal to those in front. They were probably going to notice that, and when you notice that the quickest guy in the track is the guy behind you, then it does start to come into your thoughts. Now, Subaru goes for the move and just about gets it done. There's a little bit of contact with the Porsche, and we get the chance to make the run up the inside. However, the Porsche just kind of squeezes it out a little bit, moves over at the last second. I don't think he knew we were there, but we survive it and we're right in there. We've got a chance now. It's the last lap. The Obviously, the cars in front have kind of broken away a little bit, but P4 and P5 are having a little bit of a battle here. Now, I decide I'm going to make a little fake send up the inside. The Porsche didn't expect it. Absolutely just dove right through the corner. I think maybe out of fear, I don't know. But it meant that the McLaren behind me was now in my tail, so I was having to defend at this point, and we come up here to the chicane. The Subaru goes deep, the Porsche cuts back across me at a kind of strange angle. We make contact, the Subaru contacts me, and all of a sudden I feel out of control, and I have been absolutely wiped out and spun into the wall. Now, to say I was gutted was an absolute understatement. I had put all that work in, got myself up to a potential P4 from P13 on the grid, setting the fastest lap in the process, and it ends like this on the final lap. I honestly, my face in the camera doesn't really tell the story. I'm putting a brave face on there. This was an absolute, I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted. It's one of those races where my adrenaline, I think, has never been higher in a race, and the deflation was cruel. You can see I'm slumping there in the camera, hands on the face, towel myself down. I was sweating absolute buckets throughout that race, and it all felt like it was for absolutely nothing. Now, we're going to take a look at the incident in a bit of detail here, because it's worth looking at, because the Portuguese driver in the yellow-green Porsche, he blamed me basically in the post-race lobby for it. He kind of questioned what I was doing. Now, what I was doing was trying to defend and attack at the same time, which is difficult, but everything just goes a little bit haywire for everybody here, because the Subaru goes really deep and the Porsche driver has to kind of get out of colliding with him, and that compromised his angle as he turned across me coming into the apex. We'll see it again as I get collected and spun round there. We can see here in a bit of slow motion, I'm hitting the apex. I'm fine with what I'm doing here. I'm defending from the McLaren on my left. I'm also trying to make a move on the Subaru, which I know has went deep, and we're getting round the corner not without a problem. Now, the Porsche has had to brake harder than it should have and get out of contacting with the Subaru. He's got damage as well, so he's kind of got a weird turning angle, but you can see from here, we end up collecting his rear quarter, and it's because he was going so much slower, because he'd had to get out of making contact with the Subaru, and at the same time we get touched by the McLaren, so it's a kind of three-way hit, and the pinball physics don't help, and we end up basically just spinning the Porsche driver round, but there was literally nothing I could do. We then we get hit by the Subaru, making a bit of a mess of a rejoin, and that then bounces the Subaru back into the McLaren. You'll see that here. The Subaru goes really deep, and the rejoin is just, it's suboptimal, let's put it that way. He's going across the grass, he comes onto the track and hits me. We then almost go off, but he then hits the McLaren. The McLaren can't really do anything, and he's just unfortunate that he's the car that ends up spinning me round. So the whole thing was a mess. I don't really think I was completely to blame for that. I think we all played a part in it, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it, but I would love to know what you guys think in the comments about that incident. Let me know. Could I have done anything else? Was I a bit aggressive? I don't know. But if you've liked the video, then hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It would make a massive difference if you could do that. It would really help me out. And thank you again for all the continued support that we receive on the channel. It is overwhelming at times, and yeah, you're all the best. So thanks for watching. I'll see you all on the next one. Goodbye.